All right, man, it's ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, man. I'm here to open up my library. People keep asking me to open up my library, and what I tell people is that here's the deal. Wealth begins in the mind. And if you believe that, then you got to ask yourself, what am I depositing into my mind that's going to create a wealthy mindset? Once you create a wealthy mindset, then you can start to create wealthy results. You can start having more money come into your storehouse, right? And so we're going through the book, How Rich People Think by Steve Seibold. And again, I got to set up my Amazon account so I can make sure I get my affiliate marketing going on. I'm doing all this free promoting. But hey, I'm doing this for the people. People keep asking me to open up my library, and I did that before. I'd say, hey, go read this book. And guess what? They wouldn't read it. So I'm taking a different approach. I'm saying, forget telling you to read the book. I'm just going to read it with you and for you and all that stuff. We're going to have a good time together. That's what we're going to do, man. When we read together, man, and we see things together, man, it might just be more powerful. And it's been powerful the past 2 days. So we first started off with day number one, where we talked about how rich people, they think about serving more people and solving more problems. Again, they think about serving more people and solving more problems. And day number two, we talked about linear versus nonlinear thinking. Poor people, they trade time for money. Rich people, they don't trade time for money. What they do is they trade money for money. They think nonlinear. They think of how to solve problems in a holistic way. They think of all the possible solutions to this one particular problem. And while poor people are talking about the problem, rich people are solving the problem. And that's why they continue to get rich. And that's why the rich keep getting richer and richer and richer. And so today, man, we're on day number 3, and we're talking about hard work versus leverage. Now, here's the deal, man. Again, we're going through how rich people think. 15 minutes is going to change the way you think. It's going to change your mindset about money. And hopefully it's going to start to help you to grow a wealthy mindset so you can have some wealthy results. Day number 3, middle class believes hard work creates wealth. The world class or the rich believe leverage creates wealth. If hard work was the secret to financial success, every construction worker and cocktail waitress would be rich. The wealthy strategically focus their efforts on the most profitable areas of their business while leveraging their contacts, credibility, and resources to maximize the results of every action they take. World-class performers work hard, but not in the traditional sense. Hard work to wealthy means outthinking their competitors and leveraging the collective brain power of their advisors. Now, here's the deal, man. Most people have been given the belief that if they work hard, that it'll all pay off. And quite simply, for me, that belief was if I work hard, then I'll be rich. And that's just simply not the case. We got to get to a place where we're not concerned about working hard. We got to get to a place where we're thinking about working smart. And that's the difference between rich people and poor people. Poor people are like, hey, let me work hard. And then if that doesn't work, let me work harder. Rich people are saying, let me work hard. And if that doesn't work, let me work smarter. Absolutely. It says the middle class sees hard work as a badge of honor. The world class or the rich sees success as a more important badge of honor. While one group is mentally and physically exhausted at the end of the day, the other is fresh and excited about thinking of new solutions and ideas that will keep the first group employed. As a result, the middle class live paycheck to paycheck and the world class live without limits. Are you a person who is living paycheck to paycheck, or are you a person who is living without limits? The only real difference lies in their approach and the ability to use leverage in place of linear effort. The only difference is that in their approach and the ability to use leverage in place of linear effort. If you want to be rich, if you want to take this thing to the next stratosphere, we got to change the way that we think about how we acquire money and how we use money. Rich people are thinking in much more leverage type of mindset. They're at a whole different level as far as how they're thinking about acquiring this money, working smarter, and then also how they're using this money. Many of us, 80%, 85, 90, 95% of the world is thinking in linear terms. I'm going to trade my time for money. And we understand from Rich Dad, Poor Dad that there's this cash flow quadrant and we need to be working our way over to the right side if we want to be rich. if we want to get to a place where our money is taking care of all the things that we need. The average person is playing life's proverbial slot machine, while the wealthy own the slot machines. Are you a participant or are you an owner? Let me turn this off. I'm sorry. I guess I could have turned it off a long time ago. Are you a participant or are you an owner? The beauty of living in a capitalistic society is that anyone in the middle class is free to make the necessary changes in their thinking to capitalize on the concept. Most people won't do it because they are either unaware of how they can think differently or don't believe it's possible. Either way, the wealthy will continue to amass fortunes while the masses sit on the sidelines worrying about how to pay their bills. And here's the deal, man. We have to make a decision, right? We have to make a decision that we're going to learn to work smarter. Anything is possible for us. We have the ability to learn. We have the ability to change the way we think. We have the ability to do it. We just have to decide that we want to do it. First, we got to be made aware that there are other ways to think as it relates to money. And this is what I teach the kids at a young age. This is what I do. I'm in a financial literacy space and I teach kids. I change the way they think at an early age so they don't have this thinking about money when they get older. And hopefully there are people that are older that are open to changing the way they think. They're an old dog that can learn new tricks. And then they can move into the space of, man, I never knew that this was possible as it relates to how I acquire money or how I use money. So as we get deeper into these different mentalities of how rich people think versus poor people think, hopefully some things will start to settle in for you and you can say, man, how have I been thinking? And a good litmus test is to say, well, wherever I am up until this point in my financial status in life is all a result of how I've been thinking about money. And if I'm good with where I'm at, if I'm good with that, I can just improve on that and be cool. But if I'm not good with that, maybe it's time for a change. Just maybe it's time for a change. And here's our quote of the day. It says, people with leverage have dominance over people with less leverage. In other words, just as humans gained advantages over animals by creating leverage tools, similarly, humans who use these tools of leverage have more power over humans that do not. Saying it more simply, leverage is power. And that's a quote from Robert Kiyosaki. He said, people with leverage have dominance over people with less leverage. In other words, just as humans gained advantages over animals by creating leverage tools, similarly, humans who use these tools of leverage have more power over humans that do not. Saying it more simply, leverage is power, by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, here's our critical thinking question of the day. Here's where we start getting into, man, let's think about some stuff. It says, what were you taught about hard work when you were growing up? What were you taught about hard work when you were growing up? So if you're here and you're like, hey, man, let me jot down a few thoughts about what I was taught about hard work when I was growing up. Man, jot that down in the comments below, man. I'll read it out. But what was I taught about hard work when I was growing up, man? I really wasn't taught a whole bunch about hard work. I recognized that hard work was the teaching was in the showing, right? But I did realize from what I saw that sitting on the couch wasn't going to get it done. Like, being a couch potato wasn't going to get it done. So I did see hard work being played out. And I realized that to have some sort of being able to live effectively in this world, you got to work hard. But what I wasn't really taught was how to work smart. That wasn't something that I saw because I don't think that you can see working smart. I think it has to be taught. I don't know if you can see someone working smart. I mean, you may, depending on, I guess, what type of work they're doing. But I think that's more of a teaching. That's more of a, hey, I did it this way because, and then you can kind of see the result. Many times all we see are the results, but we don't know how these smart people or how these people that are working smart got to these results. So therefore, it's hard for us to really break down and say, oh, that's why you made that decision. Oh, that's why you made that contact. Oh, okay, I understand. And then you kind of see it. So I didn't really get that type of teaching, that type of mentorship. I could see that one of my parents was working and consistently working and continuing to make moves. I don't know what they did to get to what they have, but I see the end result is one is able to retire, is able to retire and live off the means of his own income. And I see the other parent is not able to retire. So you say you had to work hard to succeed. That was one of the mindsets that came to you from working hard. And I think that's what comes from the industrial age. That's what comes from, that's a mindset, right? That's a mindset that was kind of, embedded upon us. And we understand we do need to work hard, but I'm saying along with working hard, we also need to work smart. And now we're into this information age, man. If you can work smarter, more so than you work harder, you can find yourself in places where you have an abundance of awesome things because you're working smart on building systems and automating things and all of these great things where it frees up your time to do more with your hard work or your hard labor. And because you can't be at two places at one time, right? So if you work smart enough to have systems in place that can take care of so many different things that you don't have to be there, that frees you up to be at other places, to make more contacts, to create more systems or whatever it is that you do in business, man. So what were you taught about hard work when growing up? Now, here's our action step, guys. Our action step is make a decision to let go of any limiting beliefs you have about hard work and start thinking about how you can use leverage to become more successful. Start thinking about how you can make leverage to become more successful. How can you leverage your relationships? How can you leverage your ideas? And here's a great example of what leverage is for me. I talk to people about how you go to school, you work hard to go to school, finish school, and get a degree, right? But many people haven't learned how to leverage their degree. So that's why we see so many people that get degrees and can't find work, because they haven't learned how to leverage their degree. All they learned how to do was to work hard to get the degree, and they will work hard to stay in the job, but they did not learn how to leverage their degree, because your degree should be leveraged. It should be leveraged to take you to another level as it relates to a pay grade, because you've worked hard to get the degree. Now the degree is leveraged in order to get a better job. But if you never learn how to leverage the degree, then you find yourself not getting a job. And then now we have this big wake of, I've spent all of this money getting this college degree that I can't use. I'm frustrated. I'm busted and disgusted. And it's been 8 years of me going after this thing, because the school never taught you how to leverage. And that's one thing that Robert Kiyosaki talks about. The school will not teach you about leverage. The school will teach you about hard work. The school will teach you about study. But who's going to teach you about leverage? Who's going to teach you about leverage? And so when I talk to people and I say, man, okay, you got this degree. Let's talk about how you can leverage your degree. Let's talk about how you can leverage your experiences. Let's talk about how you can leverage your ideas. That takes you to another stratosphere as it relates to your income, as it relates to your wealth building. What are some things that you have? What are some things that you can leverage in your life to take you to the next level? If you got some things that just popped into your head right now, you want to drop them in the comments below, feel free to do that. But I gave that example of someone worked hard to get a degree. They worked hard, but they never learned how to leverage the degree, so they're still broke. They still are without a job. They still aren't able to use their degree because they never learned how to leverage their degree. Now, how fantastic would it be if people went to college and they learned how to leverage their skills, their abilities, their degree? How awesome would that be for this world if we actually started to teach about leverage? Not just from a financial standpoint. Obviously, the principle behind it is still there, but how you can use the principle in your own life to make your life great. And then obviously the lives around you great, because you're doing what you love to do. You've learned how to leverage it to put you in the position that you can do it even greater. The reason why I'm having this conversation today, and obviously it's coming from the book, it's spawned from the book, is because many of us have not learned how to leverage our skills, our talents, and our abilities. Many of us have not learned how to leverage our skills, our talents, and our abilities. Rich people are always finding better ways to leverage their skills, their talents, and their abilities. And if that skill just happens to be leveraging other people's money, leveraging other people's efforts, leveraging collaboration, that's all falls into the same vein. Focus on learning how to leverage, which means working smarter. More so than focusing more on how you can work harder. Because eventually you won't be able to work. Eventually your body gets older. Eventually you won't be able to work as hard as you used to work. But the wise people, they get to a point where, hey, I may not be able to, dunk no more, but I can pump fake the heck out of you and I can skill drop 30 on you. Got that grown man move, that old man move on the basketball court. Why? Because they're leveraging their skills and their abilities at this age to still be able to put up points, to still be able to make a contribution. They're not working harder. They're just working smarter. They've learned that you got all this aggression. You're going to jump every time I pump fake. So I'm going to pump fake, get you up in the air, and then I'm going to bump you, jump that jump shot down and get that foul. It's that grown man, that old man move, man. That's a good segue, man. So here's the deal, man. Rich people, poor people think about working harder. They think about getting the extra job. They're thinking about putting in more hours to get more money. Rich people, they think about leverage, how they can leverage their skills, their talents, and their abilities to escalate or accelerate their income. Well, here's the deal, guys. I told you it's only like 15 minutes, man. This is what we do each and every day, 8 o'clock. Monday through Friday, actually Monday through Saturday. I'm doing 6 days on, 1 day off to get through this, 100 of them. How rich people think, the money mind shift. This is ERGJ, your certified financial educator. I am opening up my library. Hopefully you've been blessed by what we talked about today. And I'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be here too. Have a good day.